And welcome to The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this week, we're going to die.
Are we, though?
On a monorail. Maybe.
I've never driven on a monorail.
You haven't?
Or in a monorail?
So you could come to Minnesota. Well, Minnesota used to have a monorail at the Minnesota Zoo. And they shut it down because no one was riding it. And they also charged...
It wasn't spinning out of control?
No. It was
riding out of control?
It was because no one was riding it. And they figured people would just rather walk around a zoo and see all the animals than ride on a monorail. So I feel like this was kind of related to the Simpsons the Springfield not needing a monorail.
Yeah.
The zoo really didn't need a monorail, but they had one anyway.
And a lot of people rode that monorail.
I know, until it fell off the tracks, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So on this journey of riding on a monorail that doesn't need to be in existence, we brought along most of the Simpsons cast on this journey. We have a lot of special guests. We have Dr. Hibbert, Mr. Burns.
Oh, yes.
Homer.
Hello.
I don't know. Dr. Nick Riviera, I think, is here.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Who else? Let's see. I think Carl's
Krusty the
here.
Clown.
Yeah, Krusty the Clown.
How are you? Oh, boy. That'll be
Yeah.
$35,000.
Yeah. Couldn't pay him enough.
Don't come cheap.
Couldn't pay him enough. But the guy behind the voice, we also invited because we figured he's just as amazing as all these other voice actors. Jayden Libran. We brought on to help us get through this Marge vs. the Monorail episode and bring some of the best voices in the world along with him. So, welcome to the show, Jayden.
Thank you very much for having me. This is a very exciting episode to be covering, written by the notorious Conan O'Brien. So
I
that'll be
know.
a lot of fun.
I know. I love
And
Conan.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Awesome. So, what we do with all our guests once we bring them on and introduce them, the first question we like to ask before we dive into the episode is, what got you into The Simpsons? I think so. Me and my brother, I'm 38. My brother's 34. And we grew up literally the moment The Simpsons came out. We were watching it in 89, 90. So obviously you're definitely younger than us. What got you into The Simpsons? When did you jump in? Was it right away season 1? Did you start watching it, or did you watch some of the later seasons and then go back?
Well, I think my first memories of The Simpsons are, I know we had the toys. We had a talking car of the Simpson family. We had the Burger King dolls. So they were sort of an omnipresence in my life, and I knew who they were by name as a kid. But sometime around 2004, 2005 season, I got my first glimpses of the show when they were airing brand new episodes. And from there, I saw the movie. And I can't remember which Christmas break it was. It may have been 4th grade. But my older brother, Devin, gave us a box set of season 8. So we watched that first, the Oakley Weinstein years first. And then we sort of went backwards as the years went, and we would get each DVD box set for our birthday, and I say our because I have a twin sister. But for our 12th birthday, we get season 12, and then 13, and the 14, and so on and so forth. And now we have 1 through 20.
Oh, awesome!
And I've caught up on every episode, and maybe one of the handful of fans left that have seen all 700 episodes. So it's a great show, and I'm happy to have caught it when I did. I've never really fell too hard into Family Guy and all the other adult animated series, but this is one that really resonates well with me, and sort of molded my sarcastic sense of humor over the years, and it's great.
Yep. And then for those of you guys that didn't hear when we opened the show, but you heard all the other voices. So when did you decide you wanted to become like a voice actor and I guess focus on the Simpson voices?
Well, I wanted to be a voice actor as early as I think maybe January of last year. And there wasn't a whole lot coming my way. I would do maybe a podcast series once in a while or a fan animated project, nothing major. And it was when they announced this recasting effort in July of last year, or June of last year. I went full on and did first the characters that they had open, and then I wanted to see how far I could take that and just how many characters I can do. And I think at my count, I can do about 100, maybe 110 different Simpsons voices.
That's
Holy
awesome.
moly.
No, that's really cool. You're like a modern day. What's his Nick Castellanetto? I think that's his name.
I'm not sure who that is.
No. He does a lot of voices, like Robin Williams. Like he does like other celebrities. I can't remember. I thought it was Nick. Like he did. I saw him do like a stand up show, and he was fantastic. And who's the other guy from? He was like Saturday Night Live that did a ton of voices.
I mean, I know Robin Williams did a ton of voices.
Yeah, I know he came to my college and did a bunch of voices too. What's the name? Frank something, right? Frank Caliendo. That's the name.
Oh, Frank Caliendo.
That's the name I was thinking.
Man,
of.
that's pulling back from the
I know.
vault.
I know.
Jeez.
Dude was good too. Dude did a lot of voices.
Yeah.
So no, that's really awesome. And thanks for coming on. So why don't we dive into season 4, episode 12, Marge versus the Monorail. And as Jayden pointed out, written by the great Conan O'Brien, who once again decided to stop late night TV and move on to, once again, something else. So hopefully we'll see him soon again on HBO Max. And did you guys see the Conan O'Brien exit interview?
I did not.
Oh, that was fantastic. So Homer Simpson sits down with Conan O'Brien.
Oh, I did. I watched that.
And does the exit interview from his late night show. That was absolutely fantastic. Where they made fun of Conan and his time on The Simpsons. So that was great. Yeah. So air date. Go ahead, Robert. You can do this.
Yeah. So air date, January 14th, 1993. This is the first episode to air in 1993, which is a great first step. Recap. A con man sells the people of Springfield a monorail, but Marge warns that it's a mistake.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to get into this episode. Chalkboard gag. I will not eat things for money. And for a side note, and we'll put a pin on this, there is actually a future episode where Bart eats something for money.
So Jayden, what we like doing is once we get to the chalkboard gags in every episode, we like to figure out what got Bart into detention to write this on the chalkboard. So any thoughts on what Bart happened to eat to make it into detention this week?
My guess is that Bart ate something from Lunch Lady Doris's tray. Skinner, passing by thinking that it was something that was banned from the school, gave him detention, not knowing that it was something that was actually on the menu.
Ooh, that's
like
good.
Probably something like a horse heart or something.
Right? I mean, Bart gets sent to the detention for the craziest things. He says he will not eat things for money. So, maybe kids were paying him to eat erasers and chalk.
It's possible. Maybe it was Lunch Lady Doris that was paying him to test those horse hearts.
Right.
Oh, my God.
This needs more iron.
This needs more horse lips. So, our couch gag for the week, and this is the first instance we see this couch gag. It's used in a couple future episodes. The Simpsons sit on the couch, and then other residents of Springfield pour in and sit down with them to watch TV.
All right, do you guys want to know who sat in there? I got the list. I'm crazy. So there's Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie, Patty, Selma, Herman,
No.
Jasper,
Yes.
Grandpa, Krusty, Apu,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Oh, yes.
Smithers,
Ah.
Principal Skinner,
Oh, yes.
Miss Krabappel, Miss Hoover.
Oh, God.
Sounds just like her. A woman in a bikini,
I think that was Princess
Cashmere, isn't it?
Is that
Yeah.
Princess Casimir? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barney, Dr. Hibbert, Moe, Kent Brockman, Martin, Millhouse, Nelson, and Otto appear in the couch gag.
I feel like there were more.
I don't know. That's what I saw. I guess if you,
I think there might have been a couple
No,
more,
that's
but
right, but I feel like there was more for some reason.
Oh,
it seemed
I mean,
like a lot.
it was a pretty extensive list, but next time this comes up, we'll see if we could rehash a few more.
Yes.
Few more in there. So we get probably, and you guys could fight me if I'm wrong, probably one of the best episode openings in Simpson history. So-
I'm gonna go one higher. I'm claiming it as the best Simpsons intro of all time.
What do you think? Yeah, parody of the Flintstones. Homer.
I think that's an A+ intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes down. So we get the horn, just like at the Flintstones at the thing, and we get Simpson, Homer Simpson. He's the greatest guy in
history.
from the town of
Town
Springfield.
of
Springfield. He's about to hit a chestnut tree.
Oh, that was great.
Uh,
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, the sliding down the tube, doing the yabba dabba doo.
I like the fact that when he slides into his car, he breaks a window.
I mean, it could have been just as funny if the window, I think, was rolled down, but
Yeah.
I think breaking the window definitely seals the deal on that. That's
Yeah.
just great. And then you cut back to the plant after that. Like, okay, so no one else left apparently, but we cut back
No.
to the plant, and Lenny and Carl are welding tops to toxic waste barrels that say "toxic waste, do not eat."
That's probably a good sign for a toxic waste barrel.
Probably shouldn't be eating toxic waste.
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't think toxic waste eating is a very good idea. So so then we get our first movie moment of the episode, and this is the scene in which Mr. Burns and Smithers prepare to illegally dump the nuclear waste, and it's accompanied by the adaptation of Axel F, the Axel's theme from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yep.
Which is really awesome. I think that was a really good use of that, and this is not the first time we've seen the Beverly Hills Cop theme song. It's similar to the song adaptation in Separate Vocations. If you guys remember that episode.
Yep.
So that was pretty fantastic. I don't know if any of I don't think Green Bay has a nuclear power plant. Jayden, I don't think where you live they have a nuclear power plant, right?
No, they don't.
No, so and I don't know if dumping waste barrels in your towns are. I mean, people have dumped the Green Bay Packers into the Green Bay, so I mean that's toxicity in general. But but I don't know if they necessarily grow arms out of trees.
No.
But yeah,
That
toxic.
barrel lasted 9 drums.
Yeah, right. Unbelievable, Mr. Burns. Unbelievable. Thinking that you could just dump things into a park and get away with it.
Right.
Right. And so I do like one thing that I did notice is and we kind of I don't think anyone noticed it. Maybe you guys did. So a tree in the park, when it's panned over, there's a heart carved into one of the trees, and it reads MB plus HS. And I'm going out on a limb and saying that it's Marge Bouvier and Homer Simpson.
I totally missed it.
Aw.
What do you think? You
Yeah.
think? I would say Montgomery Burns and someone else, but
No.
Waylon Smithers would be HS or MS
Yeah. WS.
or WS. Sorry. Wow. I'm confusing it with the sundial and
Yes.
but no. What do you think? I think Marge Bouvier
Yeah,
and Homer Simpson. What do you think?
probably.
That's pretty
Yeah, it was
good.
a nice day in the park. It was was this before or after Duffless?
This is before Duffless.
Before Duffless.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe after that bike ride at the end of that episode, they went to the park.
Or maybe what was the episode? Yeah, the season 1 when Homer and Marge go out of the power plant in carrying in Homer's
that's
arms.
For
Yes.
10 minutes.
Yep. Tell the boss. Yeah. But yeah, 9 barrels couldn't go into the tree and grew tentacles, I think.
Yep.
And then a squirrel comes out of the tree with laser vision and lizard tongue. That's
To
pretty-
catch the acorn that he chopped down with his laser vision.
Yep. And so Mr. Burns and Mr. Smithers get caught by the EPA, which is the first appearance of the EPA in the Simpson world.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I wish it was who was the voice in
The movie?
the movie that voiced the
don't
EPA agent.
Yeah, I know his name,
don't-
but it's slipping my mind right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they would have gotten him to do
Yeah,
this,
in 93.
Al Brooks.
Al Brooks. Al Brooks is an old guy.
Oh, yeah,
wasn't he a voice on The Simpsons at one point?
He
too?
was.
Yeah, he's
He did a few
Scorpio.
voices.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
could have brought him back to be EPA in this episode too. That would have been
Yeah,
great.
20 years later after he voiced it.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you go back 20 years and voice the EPA again?
Yeah.
Hop into the time machine.
Yep. And so the Boy Scouts have stumbled upon their game of hide the ooze. That was good. And so now we cut to the courthouse and we see a sign in the courthouse reading "Liberty and Justice for Most."
Oh my god, that hits. That hits hard. Oh my god.
Yep. And now Burns is wheeled into the courtroom in the Hannibal Lecter style. That was awesome. Now I feel like this is the second time that we've seen Burns in this. I know we see Bart in it.
I think this is the second time
I
they've
think it's the
done it.
First.
Okay.
But first with
First
Burns.
for Burns.
First for Burns. I know we've done it with Bart when he was accused of stealing the church collection plate.
Oh yes.
Right.
So, yeah, they like to
Yes.
use this bit a few times.
Yeah.
And so Burns is fined $3 million, which apparently Smithers already had it in hand,
Yep.
and gave the judge the money. And Mr. Burns, what did you also want to buy?
Oh, and I'll also take that Statue of Justice, too.
Yeah, exactly. So
And I mean so.
that's perfect. I love it. I love that Mr. Burns just thinks he could buy the courtroom.
Well, he did. He
Yeah.
bought this. As we see, there's a headline that reads "Burns pays city $3 million," and the picture is of him and Smithers, who's dragging out the Statue of Justice.
That's so great. So great. And so now, there's going to be a town hall on what to spend the money on. Lisa wants to spend the money on underfunded schools and daydreams of having virtual reality helmets in the school, which I think that's current. Is this something that schools are currently doing at all?
I don't know about that.
I
think
haven't been in
some,
school.
Some STEM schools might.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well-
we all know, like, we like to choose when the Simpsons predict the future, but
Right.
I don't I was trying to think if I feel like virtual reality is out there. They use it for, especially during COVID, they use virtual
Yeah.
reality for like women that had to give birth in rooms where there was no one else allowed. And so for the husband or whatever to be in the
Yeah.
room with them, they use virtual reality glasses to
That's so
I
sad.
know. I just saw a story that this is more augmented reality where like you're in a room with somebody else, but Mark Zuckerberg just did an interview in augmented reality with somebody else using the VR tech.
Yeah, so
So they have the avatar.
I feel like schools have to be relatively around the corner, or at least higher end schools
Yeah.
have to be around the corner for this. Took a minute, but I do think that's something that's kind of cool that Lisa was, because virtual reality really wasn't much of an idea in '93.
Probably
Yeah.
not. I mean, it was probably there, like in a sci-fi realm,
Yeah,
but not like the technology definitely wasn't.
yeah. So kind of cool that they introduced that. And what does Bart want about school?
Giant
The,
ant robots.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Well, first off, Lisa did use the VR to interact with Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll eat who I want to eat, or you'll watch me eat who I want to eat.
And kill who I want to kill. Yeah, Bart's like, spending, nah. We're going to spend that money on giant robotic ants, which he daydreams about destroying the school with, and also chopping Skinner in half, and I assume killing him.
Yeah. Oh, Bart.
Yeah.
You just want I love how him and Bugs destroying the school
Yes.
are a thing,
It
cuz
is.
I mean, this one was pretty outrageous, ants destroying the school. I mean, his other idea was him being a butterfly destroying the
yes.
school, cuz nobody
Yes.
ever suspects the butterfly.
So Marge is like, no. Let's spend it on something the whole town can be proud of. And apparently Homer's thought is a billboard that reads "No fat chicks." And this is a well that Homer goes to quite a bit, because like the Sherry Bobbins episode, he says "No fat chicks."
Yep.
There's
So
a
Homer
couple other-
Homer has something against fat chicks, apparently. So yeah.
Yeah, and so now we cut to the town hall, and everybody in Springfield showed up, and so because of that, nobody's at home, and all the burglars in town, including Snake, break into people's homes and rob them.
Can this town be any more stupid?
No, Snake. No, they cannot. So I do have. So there is a special attendee at the Springfield Town Hall.
Yes.
So there is. It includes the receptionist from the Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper babysitting service.
Oh.
So she was there. And the animated likeness of Simpsons producer Richard Sakai, Ms. Mellon, and school district psychologist Dr. J. Lauren Pyar was at the town hall too.
Weird. Well, Dr. Marvin Monroe, I think, was also there.
Was he? I guess
And Herman.
Herman was there.
Herman. Yeah. So so now Mayor Quimby wants to start it by having everybody stand up and do the pledge, and Homer's just like, get to the money. Oh my god. You know what? At that point, yeah, just get to the money.
Do they
So-
have you guys ever been to a town hall? I don't think I've ever been to a
No.
town hall.
No, can't say
They
that
don't
I have.
happen as regularly as Simpsons lead us to believe.
I know that's
Well, I will say in this day and age, so because I work for a news station, and like every day for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, now that school is coming, there's been a lot of school meetings, and we've covered a ton of those.
okay. I feel like it's mostly a small town thing, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of
thing.
Yeah.
there's been a lot of school meetings about masks in schools. So Quimby wants to open the floor for suggestions for the $2 million, and I love,
No, he wants to go over the minutes first.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, let's get to the minutes. And then a couple other people. I think it was Carl. There's 2 other people. I think maybe it was Herman.
It was Apu. It was Lovejoy,
Lovejoy.
and it was Grandpa.
Grandpa, yep.
They're like, get to the money. so Quimby's like, all right. So what do we want to do with their $2 million? And Lisa's like, don't you mean $3 million? And Quimby's just like,
yes, of course.
3 million. Yes.
yeah.
What did Quimby spend the other $1 million on? Hookers and blow?
I have no idea.
To hide the dead bodies behind the mayor's mansion.
Yeah, exactly.
None of your business.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Sorry, Mayor Quimby.
Yes.
So Maud's like, oh, we need to hire firemen, and don't they have a volunteer fire department?
Yeah, and look how good that turned out in Homer the Heretic.
All right. So Homer is like, boring. And so Mr. Burns shows up sporting a fake mustache. And he's like,
No, that's
Mr. Snrub. Yes, that'll do.
That'll
Like a
do.
little land far away.
Where do you want the money to go, Mr. Snrub?
Oh, I'd like to invest that into the nuclear power plant.
Oh,
I
right.
like the way this up. Thanks.
And I love how Shrub is actually Burns spelled backwards.
Yo, that was great. I'm glad he knew how to spell his name backwards. Like that's great. Can't remember Homer Simpson's name, but he knows how to spell his name backwards.
And so, like, the townsfolk are, very skeptical. And we get a movie moment here. And it's fantastic movie moment because they want to leave. So Smithers pulls out a grappling hook, shoots it into the, ceiling of the town, the town hall. And, Burns jumps on them and they get away. They repel. And this is from it's an 89 Batman reference. And actually the Batman theme song is playing in the background while this is all going on. I love it. It's a great callback.
Fantastic.
I love it. So now Apu, what do you want? Apu,
What did he suggest? I can't.
Yeah,
was a police officer.
More police officers because he's been shot 8 times.
Yeah. And he's like, and it almost caused me to miss work. And Wickham calls him a crybaby.
It's so awesome. I love that. I love that Apu is not willing to miss work even though he's been shot.
Yeah.
Well,
because that's his work ethic.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
He's a hardworking American. Well, not yet, but he will be.
Yes.
So now, so Marge, suggests fixing Main Street because there are potholes everywhere and they left the tire chains on too long. And they've been carrying too much weight on their cars.
Yes, and there's a thing, I don't know if you caught this, but when there's the flashback of Main Street and Homer's driving down the street, he says, "Look at that pavement fly."
Yes.
It's partially echoing the line, "Look at that blubber fly" from last episode's Homer triple bypass.
You're right.
Yeah, and so I don't know why, but Homer is driving with tire chains on, which for anybody listening not in the Midwest or a place where you don't get any snow or very hardly any snow, that's what a lot of people use to drive in the snow.
Yeah. It's mostly Colorado, Utah, Montana.
I think they do it. Don't they do it in Minnesota and Wisconsin and
Michigan? Like the northern areas, they definitely.
Well,
do.
there's a joke. There is a joke out of Alaska making fun of the state of Washington, to go to Washington to get chains because apparently people in Washington do not know how to properly secure tire chains to their cars.
All right, Jayden, where did you grow up? Just for I just want to see.
Oh, I'm in California, so
you've never seen snow.
Mountains, but
okay.
We don't get snow down here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, you don't get snow. Yeah. I hear the tone in your voice. Yeah.
So in the flashback, Homer's driving with tire chains on. It's not winter, and also he has a piano strapped to his car.
Strapped vertically.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's not the same piano that's actually in the Simpsons' home, right?
So he's probably just delivering it someplace else.
Oh, okay.
Odd that he would do that kind of odd job for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do know Homer is starting to get into his wacky jobs.
Yes. Well, and this is kind of the start of it.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So Marge explains that the potholes are becoming a real nuisance. And we cut to Main Street. There's a huge hole. At this point, I don't even think you'd call that a pothole. I think you just call that a hole. And the old guy, he's driving the popcorn truck, and he falls in the hole. It explodes,
Ooh.
and then it fills with popcorn because of the heat from the fire.
Yeah, that's great. And so now we get Abe, yelling, about not putting all of the money in one basket. And now the people are thinking, oh, that's a great idea. Let's put all our money in one basket and fix Main Street.
I ain't for it, I'm against it.
Yeah, and so, Quimby then says, oh, Abe's idea is great. And obviously it was really Marge's idea, but Abe spoke up and,
I do like the fact that they've done this a couple times in The Simpsons
Yeah, I
where
was just about to say.
where they, female pitched an idea and a male gets the credit. And Rick and Morty actually just did an episode on this a few months ago, because obviously recorded early, about, Summer coming up with an idea and the scientist taking all the credit.
Yep. Yeah. So it's definitely something in the 90s that I think I mean, 90s, early 2000s. I think it's getting
I
don't know.
still think it's kind of in today's circle.
I don't know. I think it's getting a little bit better. But yeah, so they're all gonna vote. They're all gonna vote for it, and so we get Lyle Lanley in the back room, and he's like, "Well, I've got an idea." And did you guys notice? That Lyle Lanley's voice is a virtual dead ringer for Lionel Hutz and actor Troy McClure?
I don't hear it.
You didn't hear it?
No, I didn't hear it. I don't know what you're talking about, Steve.
Oh. I mean, I kind of heard it. I was like, it's kind of sizable, Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure, but doesn't look like them. So we get the best intro for Lyle Lanley. You know, a town with money is a little like a mule with a spinning wheel. No one knows how he got it, and damned if he knows how to use it. And everyone mule. Well, sir, there's nothing on earth like a bona fide, genuine, electrified 6-car monorail. What I say?
Monorail.
What's it called?
Monorail.
That's
right. Monorail.
I hear those things are awfully loud.
Glides as softly as a cloud.
Is there a chance a track could bend?
Not on your life, my Hindu friend.
Well, what about us brain-dead slobs?
You'll be given cushy jobs.
Were you sent here by the devil?
No good, sir, I'm on the level.
The ring came off my pudding can.
Take my penknife, my good man. I swear it's Springfield's only choice. Throw up your hands and raise your voice.
Monorail.
You get the gist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before the song pops on, Lanley is like, "Oh, it's I come to you, good people, tonight with an idea. Probably the greatest. It's more of a Shelbyville idea." And Mayor Quinn, they're half as smart as those people over in Shelbyville. Not really.
Yeah.
Big icon.
Yep.
And Lyle Lanley is like, "I've sold monorails to Broadway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook, and by gum, it put them on the map." And he pulls out a map and he the towns. Now, I did look this up because I wanted to know if the Simpsons made up all these names. They made up Ogdenville, and they also made up North Haverbrook. However, Brockway is a borough in Jefferson County in Pennsylvania.
Oh.
So
at least Lyle Langley screwed over one real town.
Yeah, right.
The other ones are fake. But one other thing, before we continue on, for those of you guys don't know, this is another movie moment. Lyle Langley acts and sounds like the traveling salesman Professor Harold Hill in The Music Man, except that Hill goes to River City, Iowa, rather than Springfield, and is interested in starting a boys' band rather than stiffing the town on a monorail.
Yes.
So I think it's really funny, and I don't know if this was just another. It would be great if this was like another movie moment to the when Bart, Milhouse, Nelson, and Ralph do a boy band. It would have been really kind of funny had they saved this movie moment for that movie. For, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was obviously greatly played in this episode, but the fact that they have a future episode where they start a boy band. I mean, it would have been kind of cool to mirror that movie to that episode as opposed to this, but it still works fantastically.
Yes.
And yes, the Monorail song also contains elements of the Music Man tune Trouble.
Yes.
So really, really awesome pull. I love it. And Marge still thinks Main Street's still all crack and broken. So I unfortunately, sorry Mom, the mob is spoken. And then I love, the entry, they're exiting the town hall onto the steps, and, Homer does his mono. Yep. So that was good.
There it is.
Yep. And Snake actually comes into the group singing as they walk outside next to him. So he was done robbing all the houses, and kind of wanted to make sure he had an alibi for robbing all the houses.
Yes.
And so as they're driving away from the town hall, Marge is, trying to reason with Homer. She's like, "I still think we ought to spend the money to fix Main Street." And Homer's like, "Well, you should have written a song like that guy."
I do like the fact that Homer and Bart are also chaining Monorail while they're driving.
Oh, that's so great. Well, Homer, we do know Homer really likes to tack on to songs that are sung in the town.
Yes.
And so now we get Lanley visiting Lisa's class, and he flirts with Miss Hoover. Yeah, I mean, he wants to, show the town that he's for real. And Ralph asks if it can outrun the Flash, and he's like, yeah. And then another asks if a Superman can outrun the Flash. Just completely go, sure.
Now here's the thing. Superman and the Flash are technically the same speed, but I'm pretty sure that the Flash can outrun Superman.
I know there's a lot of comics out there, and I know they did this joke in the CW shows a few times where Superman and the Flash race. I can't remember if there's any movies that they...
Well, there's
at the end of Justice League.
Yes.
Okay, yep, you're right. So yeah, I don't know, maybe one day we'll just get a race around the Earth or something, see who's the fastest. And then Lisa asks Lanley why they should build a mass transit system in a small town with a centralized population. And Lanley says, that's the most intelligent question I've ever been asked. But only you and me would understand it.
The answer.
Now the funny thing is, I can't really, aside from like LA, because LA has a train system that's hardly ever used. Or do people actually use it now?
People use it, yeah.
Okay.
It's not nearly as crowded as New York's, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm trying to think of other areas.
Chicago.
Well, Chicago, Boston, they have elevated trains there.
Detroit has a people mover system that is technically a train, I guess. I didn't go on it when I was there. Well, when we were there.
But see, it's really funny to think about places that are centralized. I mean, downtown Chicago is centralized. Yes, it has a transit system like this. But like Minnesota, we're finally getting a light rail system that'll take us outside of downtown and to the suburbs, like to other places. So,
and where I grew up in the Bay Area, our transit system was called BART.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Bay
funny.
Area Rail Transit.
Oh my God. How has that not been put on? Okay, please tell me someone, like a street merchant, actually sold t-shirts. Like, knockoff t-shirts for that with like BART on it.
I mean, it was San Francisco. There's bootleg on every corner.
Yeah, but I'm guessing you've never seen a shirt for that, like a Bart Simpson and the BART transit system meshed together on a shirt.
I was a kid when I wrote the BART, so I'm going to say maybe to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does it still exist? Can we still make knockoff shirts?
Yeah, it still exists.
Okay.
Wow.
If it doesn't exist now, okay, anyone in the Bay Area right now listening to this, if you have never seen one, make one. I guarantee you'll probably make a lot of money for this.
Probably.
And then
Until you get
you get sued by Disney for doing it. Yeah.
So
Frenchman.
So now we cut back to the Simpsons, and they're watching a commercial for Truckosaurus, the movie. And I'm pretty sure like they pulled video from when the Simpsons saw Truckosaurus, because that is definitely Homer's pink car in the trailer.
Dude, it was literally okay. So I think this was pulled from the commercial of Truckosaurus when Homer and Bart were watching Truckosaurus. Because remember the commercial for the Monster Truck Rally was Truckosaurus eating the Simpsons car before it even happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, these animators, man, they're just pulling old stuff. This isn't the first time in recent history that they've pulled old clips. Remember when Homer was making the clown bed for Bart? They literally ripped off Homer making the bat for that. So the animators are like, you know what? Let's just use old crap. They won't know the difference.
So we find out that Marlon Brando is the voice of John Truckosaurus, celebrity voice impersonator.
Kiss you or to crush you.
Celebrity voice impersonator.
Yep.
Yeah. So now we cut to a commercial of a guy that looks like Homer sitting on the couch, and the commercial just mirrors Homer's life right now. And the guy's like, "You're through 3 beers," and Homer's like, Does whiskey count?
Beer?
And basically, it's a commercial for Lyle Lanley and the monorail conductor school.
Yeah.
And Homer wants to tell Marge he wants to be a monorail conductor.
Yeah, so it's
Marge
like-
tells him no.
Yeah, he's like, Marge, I want to be a monorail conductor. Homer, no. But it's my lifelong dream. Your lifelong dream was to run out the field at a baseball game, and you did that last year. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And then Marge points to a framed sports page with a picture of Homer running onto the baseball field in the middle of a game with the headline, Idiot Ruins Game. Springfield forfeits Pettit. So they must have been good that year. And obviously Homer wasn't Dancing Homer. I'm assuming Dancing Homer was gone, right? Homer's not
Yes.
still doing that job. And yeah. And he's not on the team using his lucky bat, so
No.
maybe he thought he could use his lucky bat during the game.
Yeah, but he was a spectator.
Right?
So now we cut to the quote unquote Lanley Institute of Monorail Conducting. The quote unquote, it's written on a white piece of paper. And so we cut into the classroom, and Lyle asks if anybody is an investigative reporter. And one guy's like, I am, and she is. And he's like, I'm going to ask you to respectively leave. And he's like, all right, Phil, come on. And we cut to a guy wearing a turban with a hidden camera in it.
All right, Robert, in your line of work, have you sent any investigative reporters in on shady classes? Or
No, because that is very unethical.
Oh.
Usually you have to ask permission.
Oh, okay. All right.
If it's something like this, since it's not public, you would have to ask to come in and to record. Like the town hall, no, that's public knowledge. You can do whatever you want. You can send enough people in to record that.
Oh, okay.
Would you please leave without a fuss right now? Okay.
So now we get Homer studying the MCAT, also known as the Monorail Conductor's Aptitude Test, which is, of course, a reference to the real-life MCAT, which stands for Medical College Admission Test, which is what I believe you take to get into medical school.
Or is that to pass being a doctor? Maybe it is getting into medical school. I don't know.
We'd have to ask her cousin.
I'm not a doctor.
And so I love one of the questions in the book. Can you catch mono riding the monorail? And Homer is like, false. No, true. And Bart's like, no, you were right the first time. Wow, my dad the conductor.
I don't know. Could I think this is the first time Homer got a test question correct? Maybe.
I don't know. But theoretically, you can catch mono on a monorail if you're kissing somebody with mono.
That's right.
Trick question.
So no, I understand what the question is for, but so now we cut outside and they're building the monorail, and Homer and Bart are watching, and Barney apparently got a job as a foreman or some type of construction worker to help build the monorail, and they are putting the first car on the track, and Barney, sees Homer and Bart, and he's like, Hi, Homer. And because Barney is not paying attention, they drop the car on someone's house. And as they cut back to Barney, we have a slight animation error. There's a guy in the background where you can see through his legs because they never colored his legs in.
Ooh. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're
They
so
also give
focused.
Millhouse yellow eyes in that scene.
Oh, did they?
Oh,
Oh,
I missed that one.
nice.
Yeah.
So-
I did pause it, and I saw the guy with no colored legs.
Yep. So one other thing I do want to mention. So, when Bart tells Homer, that he would like to follow in his monorail conducting footsteps, Homer replies, do you want to change your name to Hoju? Or a Homer Jr.?
Your kid can call you Hoju.
Oh my god, why? Homer.
Yeah.
So now we cut back to Marge and Homer, and she's reading the conductor book, and she's worried about the monorail because it tops speeds at 150 miles per hour. Now, I did look this up. A magnetic monorail can top out at 375 miles per hour, which is
Yeah.
more than double.
Well, it's those bullet trains out in like Japan, China.
Yeah.
Now, aren't they building like isn't Elon Musk doing like some sort of bullet train in LA?
Something like that, right?
I hope not.
Well, I thought it was this whole like underground like bullet train thing.
I don't know if that was Musk though.
Oh, wasn't it Musk?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Musk. Maybe
But
not.
I do know what you're talking about. I remember a story on that. So basically, this monorail is basically like barely being in a race car.
Yeah.
Like a NASCAR race car. Those top out at like 220, 230.
Yeah.
So,
well, look. How like there's not even is there one stop for this monorail? So you just get on and you go all the way around, then you have to walk to your final. Like that's the one funny thing that I don't think anyone ever got about this monorail.
Yeah.
There's literally one stop for this monorail.
Yeah. So
Which sort of fits into Lisa's question from earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Marge is unimpressed by the monorail, and then Homer like tries to turn her on, and it's not working.
Just trying to get her off the book, like he should have just got on his Mr. Plow jacket. That would have stopped her. It's like, Marge, remember when I was Mr. Plow and I was so good at sex because I plowed you? So I don't know, Jayden. I don't know. That was what you could go back and listen to that episode. We always thought that there was a sexual innuendo thing with the name Mr. Plow and what Homer decided to do.
It's totally there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we thought that was pretty funny. So I don't know if there's a good conducting one that Homer could pull on Marge for this episode.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So now we cut back to Lyle Lanley. He goes, I love this. Mono means one, and rail means rail. And that concludes our 3-week course.
Extensive 3-week course.
3-week course, yeah. Yes, Lyle. Mono means one, and rail, I guess, means rail. I love that quote. I use that quote a lot too.
Yeah, Otto, he opens up his notebook and he sees him driving to Tahiti with a bag of money. He's like, that guy. And he just points to Homer. And so Brockman announces that Homer is its monorail conductor. And they show a file photo of Homer with a bunch of cigarettes stuffed into his mouth.
It's funny. It's working in news. We do use file photos, but like in this instance, when they, say Homer, usually you're going to see stock video file. And now granted, I don't know if they can use any of the stock video they have of Homer. So maybe the photo works a little better, but I do love it. It's played for a gag, but like you're telling me you couldn't find like a normal looking photo of Homer.
What about the photo of Homer stuffing his mouth full of cake?
Yeah, they could have used that one. I think isn't it a running gag for like season 4 and 5 with stock photos of Homer too?
They actually do that throughout the whole run of the show. There was one I watched the other night, I think from season 19, where Marge pulls out a picture of him and he's on a roller coaster with a beer and a gun in his hand.
That's good. No, I love the stock photos of Homer because they're never anything like normal. There's not one normal. Like, I don't know if this is just paparazzi going around taking these random shots of Homer or something, but
yeah.
They just don't have anything.
I feel like this stock photo is of like a Guinness Book of World Records thing. How many cigarettes can you fit into your mouth? And that's where they got this.
Nice. I like.
There's another one where he's got his tongue stuck to a flagpole.
Yes,
there
is. Yeah.
That is a good one too. Yeah. They could have used a lot of them. They could have used a lot of stock photos. So they're on the train, and Homer's kind of showing them around. And Marge opens up a cabinet with a fire extinguisher and finds a family of possums. What do you call the big one?
I call the big one Spidey.
Exactly. And then then we see Maggie's pacifier and Marge's necklace are now brown in this scene. So another animation error? I mean,
I don't know what happened
I thought it was
there.
just the lighting of that scene.
Was it? So
maybe.
I didn't know lighting plays a big role in hand-drawn animation. Now in digital animation, I could feel lighting definitely, because I think I heard an interview with one of the newer animators, and they do so much more with shadowing and other lighting in the newer episodes. But obviously this is all hand-drawn, so I don't know how much lighting takes effect in the,
I feel like this is an animation kind of drawing error.
My orange pen ran out, sir. Just use brown. No one will notice the difference. Except those guys doing that podcast. And so, Marge now drives to North Haverbrook because she's still skeptical.
No, you skipped.
Oh, right. She has to go to sorry. Marge has to go to Lyle Lanley's office first. And he sees his notebook sitting on his desk. And Lanley apparently was just hanging out in the dark in his office. And catches her.
Nothing incriminating.
Good. And he takes the book back. And so Marge drives to North Haverbrook, where Monorail is king. And we see that North Haverbrook's a ghost town. There's a woman in her house just laughing hysterically. The funny thing about this, I know, like, when a lot of towns put a lot of money into things, they do eventually become, ghost towns.
Oh, look at the Olympics.
The Olympics. That's what I was going with. So, like, and I think this is more older because obviously they just had like the Olympics in Rio. What was it for?
Well, they just did Japan like 2 months ago.
Well, yeah.
They're coming to Los Angeles in 6 years, I think.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they're gonna put a lot of money into it, but I don't think putting money into Olympics nowadays like bankrupts a town as much as it did like Park City, Utah. When they had the Olympics in Park City, Utah, Park City was like a ghost town for a number of years before they were able to build up tourism and like their ski snowboarding mountain there became a lot better after they really pumped money back into that and got it to become a ski town again. But I don't think nowadays the cities that are hosting Olympics really become downtrodden, bankrupt cities.
The one in China is a ghost town.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the one they did in China, the Winter Olympics. What was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
it's still like, unless you're a big city like LA or Chicago or New York, like you'll be fine. But
yep. And so Marge asks the woman at the basically it looks like a cafe. She asks about the monorail. She's like, there's no monorail, and there never was. And she slams the window shut. It says Monorail Cafe. And what's she still doing in there? Just waiting for someone to come by and question the monorail? That's her new job. She gets paid to question the legitimacy of the monorail in this town.
She has nowhere else to go, Steve.
Apparently. And then we see Sebastian Cobb roll up once again. What's this scientist randomly doing in this town? He's the scientist who helped build the monorail. And I feel like if there was an actual legitimate scientist helping to build the monorail, he would have known that it was going to fall apart and become...
Well, no, because as we learn, he talks about how Lanley cut corners.
Oh, right.
He helped design it and to make it move, but Lanley went cheap.
Right. Yep. And so Gallagher, we learned that Gallagher was a celebrity on the maiden voyage.
And he's dead.
Yep.
Probably.
And so Marge asks Cobb what they should do, and she tells him, well, you better have a damn good conductor. And they cut to Homer trying to jimmy open the door of the monorail with a hanger.
Someone get a rock.
And so now we cut to the grand opening of the monorail. And we see that celebrities obviously are being invited to go. And Krusty the Clown is the first one they introduce. And this lady runs completely up saying, Krusty, you never call me about my son or about our son. So we learned. So Krusty definitely has a few illegitimate children out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Krusty, how do you feel about that?
Don't ask.
Okay.
All right. So now we get Springfield Heights 90210 heartthrob Kyle Darren, who is 34 years old.
And when he smiles, he has wrinkles.
Oh my God, I love this. I love this poll. And then the next one, we get Lurleen Lumpkin.
Yep. Who's being interviewed by Kent Brogman. He's like, what have you been up to, Lurleen? I spent last night in a ditch. So apparently Homer, once he passed off Lurleen onto this other guy, her career basically tanked.
And her voice also changed because she's probably smoking a lot.
Yeah.
And her appearance is her shirt is ripped, and she also just got out of the rehab got out of rehab at the Betty Ford Clinic.
Yeah. Man, Homer, why you ruining country singers' lives?
Well, it's not his
First
fault.
day.
Oh, right.
So then we get Leonard Nimoy as the Grand Marshal, and this is his first appearance on The Simpsons.
Yep.
He's in a fantastic episode in season 7. Is that the X-Files episode?
Yeah. 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah. And so, oh my God, I love this so much. Hey, Quimby, what did you tell Nimoy?
Oh,
May the Force-
aren't you one of the little rascals?
Oh, and may the force be with you. Do you
Which is
even
definitely
know? Do you even know who I am?
Yeah, aren't you one of the little rascals? Yeah, may the force be with you is definitely the wrong quote.
It should be live long and prosper, if, for you guys that don't know Star Trek.
Yeah, and so then Lisa, she's wandering off and she sees Lanley get into a taxi, and she's like, "Oh, aren't you gonna stay and ride on the monorail?" And he's like, "I don't have a minute to spare." Well, it only takes 1 minute.
Well, my flight leaves in less than a minute.
Yep. Yeah, and so once again, if the monorail trip takes a minute and there's only one stop, what was the purpose of building the monorail?
Exactly. And also Lanley also knows that it's built like crap, so he needs to get out of there.
Exactly.
And so Homer starts up the monorail, and we cut into the guts of the monorail, and we see a gear fall off, and the electrical stuff starts to go out, and we had the brake line, the seldom brake line, kind of boiling up a little bit, but it hasn't broken yet. And so now, Marge and Cobb, I love this. Marge and Cobb pull up, and the monorail pulls away, and they're late to stop it. And Cobb's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I had to stop for that haircut."
And
he didn't
that haircut.
Yeah, why did he stop for a haircut? Come on, Marge, you should have known better.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is, I believe it was the day before that she met him, and we saw the dilapidated train. Why did she wait so long to go back and get him and then show up?
Yeah, that seems really odd. I mean, the timing of it.
If you look at the map, though, maybe she had to drive a couple days, because we don't know where Springfield
the next
is.
town over, isn't it?
North Haverbrook? I guess.
Oh,
I don't know if they ever. So, I mean, that's obviously the biggest mystery, obviously, is where are the Simpsons during these earlier seasons. And me and my brother have sometimes concluded that they're in Utah based on gambling rules and the deserts and a lot of other more landscaping clues than anything else. But was North Haverbrook, when we looked at the map, wasn't that more Midwest to...
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like if, let's just say, the Simpsons are Western states...
Then why didn't she go to Ogdenville? Or no, Ogdenville would have been closer.
Well, did she see North Haverbrook in the book? Like, physically in the book? So I think that... Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a question for the ages.
Or a Simpson writer once we get to talk to Conan O'Brien.
That'd be nice. So now, the seldom breaks. The brake line breaks, and so the Springfield monorail keeps going and going and going, and the sign on the door falls off or flies off, and there's a poster for the 1964 World's Fair underneath, which, as we know in a later episode, the kids go to the World's Fair,
but not the 1964. I think it was 1980 something. 84, yeah.
So Homer, I love this scene. So Homer tries to pull the lever for the brakes, and we get the doo-doo-doo sound. It goes on, and a voice goes, "The lever you are trying to pull is
brakes is unavailable."
That's great.
And so now we find out how fast the monorail is really going based on Homer's cowardly scream, and the monorail is going at 180 miles per hour. Yeah.
by the spy's scream, that's how they can tell. Yeah.
Well, it's how often are you hearing the scream?
Yep.
That's how you do the math. So now we get to the watchtower where Wiggum is, and he's watching the monorail go, and so he's like, "I'm getting dizzy."
Kinda dizzy.
I'm gonna lay down. And then Quimby comes up and he's like, I'm gonna take charge. And Wiggum's like, I have pictures. Like,
Yeah.
he tries to blackmail him to stay
Could be
in
any
charge.
man's ass.
Let's go. It's in the town. Like, then they're talking about the town charter, and Wiggum's like, I run the show in the emergency because of the town charter. And so they're like, Wiggum and Quimby are like, all right, let's go check it. And I love how Wiggum's like, do you want to take 2 separate cars or do we go together? And so now we go to the library or town hall or wherever they store the charter. I mean, there's books everywhere.
Yep.
And so, according to the charter, Wiggum is supposed to get a pig every month and 2 comely lasses of virtue true. So 2 virgins?
Yeah. But Wiggum's married, so I don't know why he's thinking that. I guess I don't. I mean, maybe
he's the police chief. Well, he's the constable.
He's the constable. Yes.
So I do like how when they're fighting over the charter, the monorail in the background, you can see it go by.
Yeah. That's great. It's a good thing they built that monorail right by the town hall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so Wiggum and Quimby fight over the charter, and it doesn't rip or anything, but you see the monorail in the background, and then we go back up to the watchtower again, and they're watching it. One of the operators like, well, why don't we just cut the power to it? And the other guy's, well, it's solar powered. When will they ever learn?
And then so now we see Leonard Nimoy on the train, and he's sitting next to a guy, and he's like, a solar eclipse. The cosmic ballet goes on.
Is it gonna be change seats?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently sitting next to Leonard Nimoy is very annoying.
Yes.
So the monorail stops now during the solar eclipse, and then we see the sun start going away again. Or Homer's on there, he's like, I did it.
Yes.
And then the solar eclipse goes away, and then off it goes again.
Yep.
Which was really awesome. So now we cut to Lyle Lanley, who is flying to Tahiti, and the pilot comes on saying, the nonstop flight to Tahiti is making a stop in North Haverbrook. He's like, North Haverbrook? Where have I heard that name before? And there's the townspeople, like, literally must have known the plane was coming by because they're out there with pitchforks. He's like, I see him. He's in seat F, like 22F or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then they get
on the plane and beat him up.
Yep. Oh,
And
that's
I guess
fantastic.
because we never see him again.
Yeah, right. Until next step. No.
So do the people in North Haverbrook all get charged for murder?
No, because they killed their town, and they're all there. I mean, they'll obviously all cover it up together.
Yeah, I think
fair.
it was justified.
Yeah.
I mean, it was justified.
Yep.
Although it happened at an airport, how does TSA allow that?
Well, don't forget, this was 93 when you could still bring guns and knives onto airplanes.
Oh, okay.
And actually get into the airport without going through a TSA.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, no, I think you still had to go through like security to get on the plane.
But you didn't need a ticket. You didn't need a ticket to go through.
No, that is true.
So one
Now you
person,
do.
one person bought a ticket, and everyone else went with.
It
Yep.
was the style at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Abe. Thank you, Abe. that's perfect. And so this is probably one of my favorite quotes for the entire thing. So Krusty, not the Krusty part, but upcoming. So Krusty tries to jump off the monorail, but Leonard Nimoy saves him and tells him the world needs laughter.
Yep.
It does. Okay, so now here, right here. So Marge gets on the radio and tells Homer, there's a man here who can help him. And
Batman?
no, it's a scientist.
Batman's a scientist.
It's not Batman.
Which is, obviously we had the Batman reference earlier.
Yeah, no, this was fantastic. I absolutely love Homer thinking that it's Batman. That fantastic. So Cobb tells Homer to find an anchor, and Homer looks at Bart and imagines him as an anchor. Another
Look at Homer.
Yeah. Another very good like Looney Tunes-esque reference where, someone looks at something and imagines them as someone else. And so Homer decides to grab a rope from a cowboy apparently practicing his routine on the monorail, and an M from the monorail on the side of the train. Yeah. And so, Homer wraps it up, throws it out the window, and Bart's like, Homer. It's like, oh, and he ties it off. And so the M actually like digs into, I love how it digs into Main Street and completely destroys it even more than it already is. So that's an awesome callback to earlier in the episode, stating that Main Street's still all cracked and broken, and even more so now. And it cuts through the oldest tree in Springfield and lands on the log cabin of the birthplace of Jebediah Springfield. And I love how it explodes because obviously Jebediah Springfield had, explodable things. And the M also cuts through some conjoined twins because it's a very complicated procedure.
It's a dangerous and costly procedure.
Yep, except when you're dealing with Homer.
Yes.
I want to know
then an anchor
to get through the office.
Right? Did it cut the entire building in half and it was apparently the right floor for this?
Yeah, right?
Now, so that was the other thing I think I've questioned before. So does Dr. Hibbert have his own practice or is he solely at the Springfield Hospital?
Well, he should be at the Springfield Hospital. He's not a Dr. Nick style character where he has a corner office like that. So,
yeah, that's what I was wondering. So was the monorail slightly near Springfield General Hospital? Like, I guess
it must have been.
I know they obviously. I'm getting way out of the way. Obviously they did it for a joke, but it's like, okay, like that's why I almost thought it was like a private practice type atmosphere, like it was a building around.
You would think because it's like on Main Street there.
Yeah. So maybe
my other question about the monorail now that I think about it, we never see it ever again.
Right.
Well, we do.
Do we?
Yes. In season 29's Old Blue Mare, She Ain't What She Used to Be. They build a sky park where the monorail tracks were. And I can't remember what activated it, but some sort of electrical current triggered the monorails to start up again, and it plows through the park and destroys everything.
That's all. I mean, it's only a few seasons ago. I'm surprised I feel like, but see, that's the one thing about the newer seasons. Like, I've seen all of them, but that's the one thing about the newer seasons that I can't say about, season 15 and earlier. I don't know those ones by heart as fluidly because I never watched them 1,000 times. I watched them, once when they were aired, and maybe, when they're on FX every once in a while.
Yep.
So so my memory definitely isn't as inept to the newer episodes as they are the older episodes.
Correct.
And so after the M cuts through the conjoined twins, we get the ye old anchor shop, and Sea Captain must have a bunch of businesses because he runs the docks, he has his Flying Dutchman, apparently he owns an anchor shop too.
He's a realtor.
Yeah, he's a realtor. So yeah, I mean, it's he has a lot of hats to fill. It's like, you call that an anchor? And so then finally, after long last, it gets lodged in Lard Lad's...
No. So I thought the same thing. The donut is on top of the building.
Oh, so it wasn't Lard... Oh, man.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was Lard Lad's donut.
I know, because
That's a weird Mandela effect.
I know, right?
Well, because there is Lard Lad. Yeah, so as I'm watching the episode, I'm like, oh, it's Lard Lad's donut, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait, I didn't see Lard Lad. And I paused it. No, the donut is sitting on top of the shop.
Huh. Interesting. That is a good pull. I'm glad you noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
And Homer, what can donuts do?
Is there anything they can't do?
I know. They could fill you up and stop monorails. But that must have been first of all, it must have been a really heavy donut.
Yes.
And it must have been anchored to that building extremely well.
Yeah.
Because I feel like at the speed and rate that the
180 miles per hour.
I mean, theoretically, it was also a lasso rope, so I feel like that might have actually snapped too.
Yeah.
Going at that speed.
Well, as we all know, Simpsons doesn't do physics.
Yes, physics are not a thing in the Simpsons universe. And so then we obviously everyone's saved, and Homer's cheering is like, "Yes, son, I'm the best mono thingy guy there ever was." And then we cut to Leonard Nimoy standing next to Barney, and Nimoy's like, "Well, my work here is done." Barney's like,
You didn't do anything.
"Didn't I?" And then he does his like what do you call that? Star Trek beaming up thing. So that was really awesome. And so now we get Marge narrating the end of the episode. And that was the only follow the town of Springfield ever embarked on, except for the popsicle skyscraper and the 50-foot magnifying glass.
Which lights the popsicle stick skyscraper on fire.
Yep. And that escalator to nowhere. And then the credits are literally people screaming as they fall off the escalator. So that was absolutely fantastic. And so Jayden, what we do at the end of every episode, we give our final thoughts on the episode and we give it a rating system. Now, I don't really think I need to give you the entirety of the rating system. I mean, maybe I do, but we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. So we do a rating scale is a 1 of dough, 2 eat my shorts, 3 don't have a cowman, 4 sprinkles, and 5 is everything's coming up Millhouse. So as our guest, if you'd like to give us your final thoughts and takes on the episode and give us your rating.
This is one of a handful of episodes that I can 100% count on to laugh every single time. I notice something new each time I watch it. I completely forgot about the Marlon Brando Truckosaurus thing. I don't know how I forgot about that, but and it's also one of the episodes that for first-time viewers, this is one that you can easily recommend. And I saw a video of it. I can't remember who did it, but it breaks down perfectly that this is the episode that defines and utilizes each of the family members in their ideal and perfect ways. We see Homer's sort of optimistic, sort of trying to be a hero kind of attitude. Marge with her suggestions on how to improve the town, Bart in helping his father, and Lisa in sort of questioning the institution itself, but eventually going along with it. And even Grandpa gets a few scenes. So we utilize all the members of the family well in this one.
And Maggie sucks on her pacifier extremely well.
Yeah, her brown pacifier.
Yeah.
We get one of the most memorable guest stars in this, both in Phil Hartman and Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
We get a wonderful song in this one as well.
Yep.
Probably one of the most famous Simpsons songs out there, or at least top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say between this one and See My Vest, those are my two top favorite.
Yep. And we utilize most of the, if not all of the secondary characters in Springfield, at least get a moment to shine in this. And what I love about episodes that involve the entire town are scenes like the town hall where a certain character can just get a funny line in and then that's it for them. And at least we get a nice glimpse of that character for a bit. We got a lot of funny exchanges between Mayor Quimby and Wiggum. And all the other secondary characters have wonderful moments. Krusty gets a good moment. Barney has a few funny moments. And it's just a great episode. So I guess I'd... what was the
5?
Number 5 one?
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Yeah, everything's coming up Millhouse with this one.
Yeah, this is a quintessential viewing episode in my opinion. The intro is fantastic. The parody of the Flintstones. I've stated in the past, pretty much almost any episode that has a song in it is usually a 4 or 5 for me. And the Monorail song is so good. It's so memorable. You get, some good references. It's just all around start to finish. kind of like our last episode with Homer's triple bypass, is just nonstop action. There's not a dull moment. Everything has a purpose in this episode. You get some good, side gags. It's just so good. Watch it over and over again. If this episode is on, you bet your ass I'm gonna sit down and watch it because it's that good. I will quote along with it. It is one of those episodes I can quote along to. So yeah, 5. Everything is coming up Millhouse as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a 5 for me. I mean, I think, like I said last episode, we're in the age of the 5s. Like, I mean, all these episodes coming up, pretty much everything since we did Mr. Plow has been a 5 for me because I just love everything about it. But this episode, just in general, obviously it was done by an amazing writer, Conan O'Brien, and obviously his team. We got to account for his entire team too. But just how it starts all the way to the finish, it's nonstop. This was one of those episodes that I remember when FX did their every Simpson episode. And I was like, I like literally was like, okay, I know I've seen all these episodes, but I literally made a point to write down a few episodes that I wanted to watch during this every Simpson episode thing. And this was just number probably 2, 3 on my list. Like, this is the one I want to make sure I catch, even though I can just pop in the disc and watch it whenever I want. And obviously this wasn't on Disney Plus yet. Like, Disney Plus didn't exist when FX did their every Simpson episode thing. So this was just one of those things. Like, I just got to make sure I actually watch it. And so, but yeah, all your points are absolutely on brand. And 5, everything's coming up Millhouse for me. So let's finish it off with our character profile. Like Jayden, what we do every episode is we profile a character from the episode, just so people can get a good understanding of a character that was in either an episode or we don't know much about. And this week we have the con artist of Lyle Lanley. And so his occupation, fast talking salesman and con man.
Yep.
His MO, selling damaged possum-infested monorail systems to small towns including Ogdenville, North Haverbrook, and Brockway, and then skipping out on town.
Yep.
So yeah, he's a bit of a jerk. He preys on small town ignorance, which God, there is no other town I think that he could have gone to that he could have sold a monorail to. His attire is a seersucker suit, a straw boater, and a bow tie. I mean, most people dress like music men, right?
Yes.
Especially con men. His expression.
I was wearing my vaudeville tux the other day for lunch.
Oh, were you? Okay. Makes sense. I mean, it gets you noticed, right?
Yeah.
His expression, sly contempt. And his fears, investigative reporters, particularly those carrying hidden cameras.
Yes.
He doesn't want to be found out.
Yes.
So but yeah, so again, Jayden, thank you so much for coming on this episode and helping us decipher this monorail episode and allowing your voice to be heard as Simpson characters on the episode. So as our guest, we'll plug our own things after, but if you want to plug, obviously you're going to be in a new TV show on Fox. So if you want to plug that or any other things going on in your life right now that you want to plug, your Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. If you want to go ahead and plug away, let all our Simpsons Did It fans know where they can find you.
Yes, I recently did an episode of Duncanville, the Fox animated series. That's on Hulu right now, episode 10, I believe, Off to the Braces. I'm also in the very popular YouTube series, Hell of a Boss. I play several characters in that. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, my name is unique to myself in that I'm the only person that has this name. So just look up Jayden Libran on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, what have you. And I'm the only one there, so give me a follow and you'll see more impressions. I do Beavis and Butthead, Simpsons, planning on doing some Futurama ones soon, and lots more to come.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you for coming on. So you can find us on our social media pages, The Simpsons Did It Podcast on Facebook. Instagram is The Simpsons Did It Pod. On Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC. And then you can also go over to YouTube, check out our channel. We have all of our past episodes in video format on YouTube. So go ahead and check it out there. Like and subscribe and comment if you feel the need. And then also make sure if you do listen to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a rate and review on there. We love to hear what people think. Finally, if you'd like to donate to our podcast, check us out on buymeacoffee.com/Simpsons Did It. And all your donations will go towards merch and stickers and all the other things we want to pass out to all of our people that donate to our podcast. So until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
I'm a co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Worst podcast ever.
Shh.